let's start with the head coach, McDermott.
I appreciate Colorado State doing this. It's it's great for us to have film against somebody else and totally different style than Iowa State, offensively and defensively. They're very disciplined in what they run. Their pace is outstanding. I thought their physicality was good, and it probably bugged us a little bit to start the game. And once again, I just tried to get a lot of people out there. It was great to get Owen and Jackson out there some after being on the shelf. Owen for a long time and Jackson for a short period of time. So obviously they have some rust to work out of their games, and but tonight's game's a step in the direction to having that happen.
Questions for the student athletes first.
Owen, just this being your first action in CHI in front of fans, how do you think that went tonight?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. My first away game as a college basketball player was in CHI, and just to be on the right side of the crowd and just feel the energy, it's a lot of fun, and I can't wait for the rest of the season.
What do you think this did for you? Just what do you think you got out of this in terms of knocking the rust off and feeling more ready for the season?
I think you nailed it. Just getting the rust off and just being out there with my teammates and playing in front of the crowd against someone different than ourselves. It was a good learning opportunity for sure.
Did you feel like it took any time to kind of get back into the rhythm of things?
Definitely. Obviously, not playing since January, there's a lot of rust, and I feel like you kind of saw that in the first half when I was real jittery and just trying to get back into the flow of the game, and I was kind of able to adjust better in the second half, and it just comes with time and more reps.
How important is it for you guys to all kind of shake the rust off, the nerves off early, and kind of get into your offensive flow before the season starts?
Yeah, I think just these two exhibitions playing in front of our home crowd is huge. Obviously, we have a lot of transfers, so that's just for everybody to get playing in front of our home crowd and a big arena like we have is very good. 2 games that don't count, but to us they do. And so it was just very important for us to play these 2 games, and I think we can learn a lot from Iowa State and then obviously Colorado State as well.
In terms of Iowa State versus now, what improvements have you seen in the way that you guys have gelled just in that short time?
Yeah, I think we had a big emphasis after the Iowa State game on communication and effort, and I think 1 through 16 have just made a huge jump. Obviously, we have a lot of new players, so it's going to take a little bit of time, and we still have a ways to go. But I think that's probably the biggest improvement we've made from this past week is just everyone communicating and be on the same page.
Ty, would you mind going through kind of the evolution of the work you've done with your jump shot? Because obviously, the clean one in the first one and the 40 footer is one thing. Just how that's come along, your 3-point shot, and how comfortable you feel with the mechanics and the process and everything right now.
Yeah, I think after the season was over last year, Coach Mack, in our meeting, we kind of talked about my shot form and had a really bad left hand thumb. I'm left-handed, so I just had a bad left hand thumb in it, and then I also finished my right follow through way out to the right. And I just got in the gym with Mitch Ballock over the course of the off season and then the preseason this year, and just repped it out over and over and over. So obviously it was kind of a long process, just thousands of shots over and over and continuously repping it. And I would say even through June and July, it still felt very rusty and just kind of like it was a new jump shot. And I'd say over the past 2-3 weeks, it's starting to feel much more comfortable, just getting the kind of live play reps in practice. And then tonight, obviously, that first one going down, I felt good. And then after the air ball, I was like, oh, that was not good. And then just obviously, we do a half court shot contest with DK every day, the day before a game. So I'll give him credit on the half quarter.
You know if that was going down out of your hand?
It looked good, but I didn't know it was going down.
I mean, when you guys got that block and then you got that crazy shot, how important was that to kind of swing the momentum and get your second half started out right?
Yeah, I think it was a huge momentum shift there. Obviously, it could have been with my air ball, they could have went down and they could have scored, and then we would have been halftime kind of in a drought there. But obviously, the momentum was a good shift for us going into the second half.
Owen, Mac obviously drew up that little action with you and Josh before the second half started. You got that bucket, and how hard you had to work for it to go. Did it jumpstart kind of physicality quite a bit in the second half for the most part?
Yeah, just being able to see one actually go through the basket that wasn't a free throw just kind of allowed me to like take a deep breath and just kind of focus and be more grounded, I think, and just allowing the Lord to work through that and just trusting in that fact.
How did you feel defensively? Obviously,
Mm.
going through all the ball screen coverages and it's kind of your responsibility first to let everyone know what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Yeah, the first half I was a little winded, so my communication probably wasn't as good as it should be. But I felt more comfortable in the second half, and we started switching more ball screens. So I felt like I was able to kind of keep the guards in front, and I felt like I did a good job, a better job in the second half, just being able to make those reads on those coverages for sure.
Anything else for the student athletes? Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
We'll continue on with questions for Coach McGarry.
So I guess your main game to the first game that you're able to parse through and study, and now one that you've had in the live book. What do you feel like you're doing? What do you feel like you're transferring from the practice floor to the game floor now?
I think our pace is getting better. I'm hopeful that guys are understanding that, it's probably going to be shorter stints of playing time compared to maybe what they had where they were, or even our guys from last year that played significant minutes. We've got enough depth that you don't have to pace yourself. Go out and run as hard as you can, and we'll put fresh bodies out there to run as hard as we can again. And I thought our communication was better. It still has a ways to go, and I think I've said this. By nature, this is a kind of a quiet team. Just we don't really have, exception of Ty maybe, guys that are like natural leaders. Jasen has really worked hard to develop that, and Ty's being a coach's kid, he's had it his entire life. So Nick has made a great jump in that regard the last week to 10 days, and he's going to have to take another step. But we're getting better there. We certainly have a long ways to go.
What do you think kind of opened things up for the offense partway through the first half?
Yeah, I mean, we finally got some pace, and as I've told the team, that pace doesn't necessarily show itself in the first half. You may have an isolated case a couple times where you get something, but as the game wears on and you keep running, sooner or later, you're going to get some things that are a little bit easier. So it was good to see us get some things in transition. We had whatever it was, 14 points, fast break points, which was good to see. We got to clean up the fouling a little bit, especially on jump shooters. That's something we've been pretty good at in the past, and we put them to the line way too much tonight.
Colorado State and Iowa State 5-41 against you guys in those two games. Is that, do you see something you're doing perimeter-wise in terms of communication and ball screens that's allowing you guys to cover the 3-point line?
Yeah, well, I've got to watch the film, and some guys were okay with them shooting, and we were gonna make Jorgensen make a couple before we changed our ball screen coverage, and he was 31% last year, and to their credit, they ran a couple things, got him some shots, he knocked them down, and then we changed our coverage and cleaned that up. But I thought we challenged some shots pretty decently tonight, and again, you hope that because of your pace, they're not playing with fresh legs as the game goes on, and those shots become a little bit more difficult. So hopefully our depth can be a strength of ours. Obviously, we can't play as many guys as we played tonight, and played against Iowa State, and that's going to be one of the most challenging things I've had to do here over the course of the next 10 days is try to figure that out, because oftentimes it kind of plays itself out over time. We said that on September 24th when practice starts, and here we are on October 25th, and it's maybe more muddled than it was before. So, and that's a good thing. That means guys are doing the right thing, and but it's going to be challenging. There's going to be some guys that have certainly earned the right to play that aren't going to get to play much.
I guess how delicate is this next week going to be in terms of just having a sit-down conversation with everybody and know where they sit right now and kind of just trying to keep that buy-in there, even though they might not get the
Yeah, it's going to be challenging. We're going to find out how unselfish we are. But as I told the team, this week's really important for us because it's really the last week where we can just zero in on ourselves. Because once the South Dakota game hits, the rest of the season, part of your week is spent on your opponent. And so you're taking really half the time that practice time where you used to spend on yourself, and you're spending it on your opponent. So this is our really last opportunity to make a big jump of growth. We'll certainly hope that there's growth from month to month as the season goes on, but this is our last opportunity to make a big jump. And hopefully we're locked in practice so we can accomplish that this week. Yeah, I still think it's communication. I think it's pace a little bit. I think we're getting better at running in the full court. Our pace in the quarter court sometimes isn't what it needs to be. And the good news is Colorado State played with great pace. So our guys saw the difference between guarding ourselves in practice versus guarding their pace. They don't necessarily run in transition. They save their energy and their paces in the quarter court with their offense. And that'll be a good lesson for us. So that's something we have to improve upon. But I think guys for the most part, have been unselfish. They're making the right plays. They're making the extra pass. And that needs to continue.
What do you think tonight did for Owen just in his progression?
Yeah, this is just a next step for him, just to put the uniform on and get some of those jitters out. To his point, he hasn't played in a game since January. He's not anywhere near, where he's going to be at some point. But that's also going to be a process. Like, you're not going to see the Owen Freeman that played in early January in Iowa, maybe till January or February, because it's just such a long road back. But there's things that he brings to the table that are really going to be valuable for us, which is it's going to be important that those guys be behind him, whether it's Jasen or Karam or Josh, whoever it might be, that they're ready to go, because he's not close to being able to play 20 or 25 minutes in a game.
How much of what you saw with Jackson's kind of shot night tonight is what you've seen from the summer and the fall so far?
I think a couple of things you saw going to the basket is where he's grown the most. His patience down there and ability to use his length to score over top. Obviously, when you miss time with a foot injury, it throws kind of the rhythm of your shot off. So it's going to take him some time to get his three-point shot back where it needs to be. But that's not really one of my worries.
Coach, every season is a process, but especially now when you've got so many new guys on the floor, how important is it for you to instill in them to trust the process and continue to build instead of focusing on everything at once?
It's very important. Like, you just it's baby steps. It's a series of baby steps to try to improve really in all facets, because I've said it before, guys really haven't come into our program in the first year and flourished, and we're going to need guys in their first year to flourish. So there's going to be some bumps in the road. There's no question. There's going to be some peaks and valleys with this season because we have new guys, and there's a fine line to walk between, from patience to accountability. Like, I understand there's going to be some mistakes. We just can't be making the same mistakes over and over by the same guy. And if we can gradually clean that up, we'll get better fast. Yeah.
Obviously the bucket again didn't mean anything from a game standpoint, but just for him to get a bucket while you're watching this.
Yeah, I think she's going to be here a while, so she'll get to see some games. But she's never been to the United States, so it was great to have her at practice yesterday, and awesome for Fedors to have her in town for an extended period of time. He's been away from his family a lot the last 4 or 5 years.
Anything else?
Jason's obviously played a lot of 5 for you this summer and the fall with the injury situation. What did you see from his physicality tonight in terms of on both ends of the floor and how he played with that position?
Yeah, he hasn't played much at the small forward in practice, so I thought that move was pretty easy for him. He got to his spots. He's patient, makes the hustle plays, doesn't turn it over. He's just pretty much rock solid, and doesn't do anything flashy. He just does everything well, and that his experience is really important to us on the floor.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank